Welcome, welcome, welcome. Potent Podcast episode 12?
12.
12. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Jay here with Trills. Trills, what's up, bro?
Chilling, bro. I see you got the fresh cut.
Oh, my man. Yes, I did. Our barbershops are opened up here, and yes, I ran to my barber for sure, man. And yeah, I feel like a new man, honestly. It's a beautiful thing, and it's weird. Thank you for noticing, honestly. But it's hard not to notice when you've seen as many episodes that we've done and how crazy I've been looking. But finally, I can at least for now, before everything closes back down, because that's for sure about to happen again. Um, for now, I actually got a haircut. Yeah, and it's changed my life a little. Something. If you notice, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you see a little bit of a different setup. Trills is in some glass room. I don't know. Is that like where the heavy minds meet?
Nah, man. I just somehow managed to get lucky enough to have an office. So
And if you notice, I'm in a different spot because right now we're recording on Tuesday at noon. We usually do this at night, but scheduling conflicts. We had to shuffle some shit around. The man Trills is busy, and this is the time that we landed on right now. And I think that us picking this time right now actually is great because one, we get to recap what happened last night in the versus battle, which we'll talk about. That'll probably be what we end with. But a lot of stuff has happened this morning as
yeah,
well too. So
yeah.
before we get into that, let's cover some funny topics real quick. Okay, so let's get into our shit, man. Okay, so it was kind of tough to find some crazy shit that's going on, but the first thing that jumps out of my head right now is 2020's been trash. Every time that the month is about to start, something else crazy happens, and this month probably is no different. Apparently, there is reports of a virus in China that is carried by pigs.
Yeah.
That'll do 2020 enough, bro. Like we get it, man. Like whoever's doing brujeria on 2020, can you please stop? Like
Bro.
next, man.
Look, man. It seems like, look, this is what I want people to do, right? I want people to stop shitting on every year we have. Because I feel like y'all shat on 2019 so much that, like, the universe, Mother Nature, Gaia, whoever you believe was like, yo, oh, that's how y'all motherfuckers feel? You think this is bad?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show
Here
you
we go.
bad, right? It's like when your parents when you was crying for nothing, I'll give your ass something to cry about. For
Yeah.
sure. That's 2020 right now, bro. Um,
Yeah.
so like I don't want to get all wrapped up in this, like I just brought it up to kind of be funny or whatever. I don't want to get wrapped up in it like make people scared or anything like that. But it just seems like I swear, like at the end of the month, right before the month starts, the next month, because today's the 30th, it's always some bullshit.
Yeah.
First it was the murder hornets, and then like another month, like it's again. I tie all this to when Kobe passed. It was like he was here guarding us from everything, man. Like, and
Yeah.
all the bullshit started happening. But yeah,
But
another virus.
here's the thing, man. Look, the silver lining is that we had swine flu before, so I'm assuming this is just swine flu mutating.
Correct.
So hopefully it's not passed on from person to person,
Right. It
and they
hasn't
could
mutated
kind of
yet.
right, and they could just lock down however many pigs are infected, and just like
That's the type of shit that makes me want to stay away from eating pork.
this is the best time to be Muslim, fam.
Right. I also want to tell you, I started following that No Context Dr. Umar account. Oh my God, that shit is perfect, man. Like, just
It never
perfect.
it never stops being funny, bro.
No, ever, ever, ever. They keep finding these clips, and it's like when you cut them up and you put them with no context like that, I feel like they're even funnier, man. Like you could just, and then you could turn the caption into whatever you want, man. That man
Yeah,
is the gift that keeps on giving.
absolutely.
So stop with the goddamn viruses already. God, man, enough, bro. Enough with the viruses. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that this is something that we're gonna wind up not talking about eventually, and hopefully it's just something that it's just a blip on 2020's radar.
Yeah.
Something that's happening right now is Freddie Gibbs and academics all last night were going back and forth on Twitter. So there was an interview. I sent it to you, right? On I think it was a few days ago. I think he's on the Bootleg Kev podcast, the first episode that they have on there.
Yeah.
So Gibbs was on there, and amongst all the other crazy things that he said in this, the one that kind of stood out to me when I saw the clip of was him saying that Jeezy is a legend, because you got to remember he was signed to CTE, and then that didn't end very well.
Right.
He said that Jeezy's a legend, but he's absolutely musically irrelevant at this point. I think both can be true. Like, I understood what he meant by that. Like, and look, you're talking to a Jeezy stan. I love Jeezy. I think Thug Motivation 101 is a classic album in any era, and you'll be able to play that. And I will die on that hill.
Absolutely.
But he's not wrong, though. Like, Jeezy will put out an album, I might listen to it, and then, like, I'll, like, be it. Like, it's not the same way it used to be when Jeezy, Thug Motivation came out, then The Inspiration, then Recession, then all those albums. I listened to those for a good long while.
Right.
I want to say the last album I listened to like over and over is probably Seen It All. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, that one's got some shit on it, honestly, especially when you go back and you listen to it. But what happened was academics got triggered by it by saying, well, if Jeezy's irrelevant, then you are super irrelevant. And I think this brings up a good conversation, because while we're trying to be funny, and there's a lot of jokes, and academics is saying Gibbs is saying some wild shit to him on Twitter, man. But I think that it brings up a good conversation because he keeps citing numbers, right? Alfredo did 25,000 in a week, so you're not impacting. I don't think that's true at all.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I know you want to say something. Go ahead.
I mean, that has never been true.
Right.
See, this is one of the things, right, where we go back to feeling like people put us in certain brackets when we start to talk like this. Certain people probably should not be speaking about hip hop, because I mean, we're the historians, bro. We need historians to keep talking about hip hop so this shit doesn't get muddled and blurred, right? Historically, the biggest impacts we've had in our culture have come from artists that didn't have the big numbers. Like, what were you going to call Hove nothing and with his first two albums because of the sales?
Right.
Like, what are you talking about, fam? Relevancy has never been dictated by the numbers.
Yeah, I just, it's really what you boil it down to. Again, obviously, you already know how we feel about this, and also, by the way, I think it was if it wasn't yesterday, it was 2 days ago. Pinata or Bandana, it was its year. You're looking at this run again of Bandana, Fetty, Alfredo. Like, these are all in a row for Gibbs, and his relevancy goes much further than numbers would ever tell you.
Without a doubt.
And I think that's like you said, the disconnect between the two generations, right? Academics is a younger guy, right? And he judges, based on, like, right now, you'd have a hard time arguing that Gibbs is more relevant at this point than Lil Baby, right? Because Lil Baby right now, has his album alternating back and forth with number one. He could have had a number one record with the Black Lives Matter record that he put out, but he's been flip flopping back and forth, getting it or whatever. They just got the clown out of number one spot. He's not in it. This like, his drop from number one is going to be drastic. So all that celebrating that he did or whatever, the last week or whatever, and talking shit, it's going to be a cold time for you, because you're dropping down, apparently, from the early tracking numbers, you're dropping down about 32, 33 spots. That's a huge fall. A huge
Right.
fall. Put it like this:
Right.
Doja Cat has so much heat on her right now, right? She's still in the top 10 right now, all things considered,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
is shocking. Um, but
Well, I mean, you know,
yeah,
Doja's audience affords her that, right? Like Say So is definitely a suburban song,
for sure.
right? So Say So isn't going to be affected by Black Twitter.
No, because I don't think they were the ones that were actually into that record,
Right.
right?
Right.
I
So
think
that's the thing, right? About relevancy, right? Like, are you relevant? Are we talking about being relevant on the pop charts? Are we talking about being relevant in the hip hop circle,
right.
right? Gibbs is obviously relevant in the hip hop circle,
For
right?
sure, he's more culturally significant. She's more, that's not mainstream though. He's
Right,
he's he's culturally significant for us right now, just because again we talked about it, the consistency, classic after classic. It's tough to do, man, and we've had this discussion, and I really still am having a hard time finding anybody other than Big to have back to back classic albums.
right,
To open your career, like he's not opening his career right now, but he's hit a spot where he's rapping the best that he ever has. His music choices as far as beats go is better than it's ever been, and he's just a guy in his bag right now.
right.
Um, Having said all that, you just have to look at the person that Academics is. Clearly out for clicks. Clearly, hanging out with this dude, on house
Right.
arrest. Like, um, he was making statements trying to say that he makes more money than Freddie Gibbs does from
Right.
rapping. I have a tough time believing that. Um, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities, right? Because you have to remember what Academics does, right? So Academics is on Everyday Struggle. He's paid by Complex. He has his own platform, right? He gets paid on Twitch, right? All those things matter, like off of YouTube and things like that. I still have a hard time believing that he makes more money than Freddie Gibbs. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, especially with what Gibbs can pull in with shows at this point in his career.
And I think that's what everybody gets fucked up about the game is that, yeah, you did 25K on an album that is largely considered by us too to be a top 1, 2, 3 album of the year.
Yeah.
But when you go get bags at festivals, your shows are packed. That's really where it is. Like the perfect example, and I don't, my dislike for this guy, because I don't want to say hate. My dislike for this guy that I'm going to talk about has less to do with his business acumen and more about how I guess it's not egotistical. I guess it's something like it's too much. The bravado is Russ. Russ does good business, right? Like he is one of the few artists that actually has an internet buzz, but actually can sell out a show,
Right.
right? In like a stadium. I just don't like him because he's so cocky all the time. And then my other thing is that when I see his posts, I see people like the things that he says, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's dropping jewels." I'm like, bro, all these things are common knowledge, right? Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand why y'all are so blown away by him saying, "Own your masters." Cut out the labels. Like, why are you blown away by that? Like,
Right.
Prince been talking that shit since the fucking 80s and 90s, bro, before
Right.
anybody even knew what that was. Like, these aren't things that people aren't aware of. Now, what I will agree with him on is that people are still stupid and duped by these deals, these 360 deals that you get into. But I'm not about to sit here and act like Russ is changing people's lives by telling them things that they should have already known.
Right. And to be honest, I think at this point the horse is dead. I think people are saying stuff that artists actually already know from hearing Hove for the
Right.
last 15 years. I just think the artists don't care. People want to get on, they want to get on, and they don't care what they sign. I
Well,
really wholeheartedly believe people don't care.
for sure. And then you have to remember too, you have people from the hood who like are about to see the whatever check they put in front of you, whether that's 10 bands, 15 bands, 20 bands, whatever it is for your advance, that's more money than people have seen in the hood, right? So they send you
Right.
this money right up front, it's hard for that person to say, I'm going to turn this down because I know what I need to get in the long run. It's hard to say, you know,
Bro,
but
especially if you out here and like you might get murked tomorrow. You signing it and you getting out of here. So
yeah, yeah. So I just think that, like, you know, well, first of all, just the things that Gibbs has been saying. Hey, yo, what the fuck? What did he say? He's like, he's gonna squeeze academics' titties or some shit. I was, oh my god, man. I've been laughing all morning. Because academics has been like, you know, again, oh, your stats, check, you know, put your tax return up. Chill with all that, bro. Like, I don't think you really want to see all that, because you might yourself get embarrassed on the other side. Just because COVID is happening and Gibbs can't do shows now, you have to remember the run that he was on. He was basically independent, basically getting all of that money for himself. So I don't know, you know, if you want to go down that lane right now.
yeah.
Sales, the least amount of money that an artist makes is off of album sales.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, that's dead. Like, you're
Yeah.
really just putting projects out to make sure that when you do your shows, people know your music.
Right. Yo, for me, bro, what's going on with this? Like I know he does all of this for clicks. I know he comes from that cloth.
Mhm.
But remember this, man. Gibbs does not come from that cloth. He's already like retweeted a old tweet of you talking about a 15-year-old girl's titties.
See, but wasn't he hacked? That was pretty funny, though, about Bad Baby, right? I
Yeah,
saw that too, and I was like, oop, you need to be, like, checked for that.
but maybe he was hacked. How do
That's
we
what
know?
I said. Thank you. I don't know that for sure.
Not to mention, I mean, if you kind of align yourself with somebody that has like assault charges, and I mean,
Is a pedophile?
it's not looking good for you, right?
No.
So, this is probably a fight you should not have jumped into. And not to mention, bro, you don't know what space you might be in where you might run into him. And he's not from the same cloth as you.
He ain't going to want to talk with you.
Right. Right.
Not that Freddie Gibbs gets cool points or tough points for slapping up academics, because we know, you know, whatever. Like you said, he don't want it like that. He doesn't do things like that, you know.
Right.
But you
But
talking to a dude from Gary, Indiana, and you trying to like stop his money or whatever and talk crazy
come on,
about him.
come on, bro.
When we
And
get outside again, you better maneuver the right way, because Gibbs will be the one that'll slide in the party that you're at.
right. Like these guys are forgetting, bro. They're forgetting. They thinking because this isn't the '90s and early 2000s anymore. People aren't starving the same way. People not on the block the same way. But sometimes you run into that guy, like the dude at whatever BET Awards or whatever that was like acting crazy, and Nipsey stepped in and slapped him. Like sometimes it's just the wrong guy, bro.
I can hear that slap right now. Rest in peace, Nipsey. I can hear that shit right now. That man says something, and like, I would never want to be open hand slapped like that. Like that is the ultimate disrespect. Punch me in the face, cool. You can knock me out. That's a man type of thing. When you open up your hand, and I think he even did the more disrespectful one, the backhand or whatever.
Bro.
And put his smack with the front hand.
Bro, the victory slap is legendary, bro. It's legendary, bro.
Oh my god, man.
It always reminds me of the Batman slapping Robin meme.
Oh yeah, that's it. And that's a backhand. That's, you know, like that's, oh my god, man. Like, I just, like, those are one of the things that I fear in life, is being open hand slapped or backhand slapped like that. Like,
And have it recorded, bro.
the problem is this. I don't know if that guy's about it, but you got slapped, and there's nothing you can do about it because everybody jumps in the way. So that's it. So when everybody jumps in the way, you're the one who gets slapped, and that's it.
That's
you just
it.
gotta sit there and eat that. Yes, when we get outside again and everything gets fine again and things like that, academics, you gotta chill out, bro. Like, like you said, you already align yourself with somebody that is kind of been accused of the same things as that tweet is out there, bro. And it's like, again, Gibbs is gonna run down on you, man. Like, it's not gonna be something that like is gonna be a conversation. Like this is gonna get a little like Gibbs is having fun online right now with you, but I guarantee you if he saw you, I don't know what's gonna happen to you, bro.
Right.
All right. So we decided to do today, right at midnight at noon.
Yeah.
And at 10 o'clock today, we're blessed, I guess, with new Kanye West music.
Jesus Christ! We love you, God!
Look, I only put that in there just because of, Jesus is King is like, if you guys ever have watched South Park, there's an episode where Cartman makes a band called Faith Plus One, and he's trying to get a platinum record before his friends do. But if you watch that episode, those are my feelings on Jesus is King. Pretty much that. The music that comes out of that episode, where like it's like he tells Token, he's like, Token, go Token Black. He's like, go into the basement and get the bass guitar out of there. He goes, what? I don't have a bass guitar or whatever. He's like, you're Black, Token, you have a bass guitar or whatever. And then like they go back to the house, right? And he comes and he goes, hey, there was a bass guitar in there. And then he's like, now give me a smooth bass line. He goes, I don't know how to play bass. And Carmen's like, Token, how many times do I have to tell you you're Black, you can play bass? He goes, I'm getting sick and tired of your damn stereotypes. He's like, be as sick and tired as you want. Just give me a goddamn bass line. And Token starts to play, and he's like, dude. He's like, he's mad. But basically, those lyrics and things like that is what Jesus is King is to me, right? Like, that's just an album I'm not going to listen to anymore. Like, I listened to it once, twice. I got it, too much. This record I actually like, because it feels like it was in the Yeezus vault, but I can tell that there's a difference between the two because he's still, Wash Us in the Blood, the record's called, featuring Travis, and I can see the influence still from whatever it is because he's not cursing still. Whatever it is that he has going on with this Jesus thing, and that feels like Yeezus. Apparently, I'm not certain, and I don't want to say this out loud, but I think it was said that Dr. Dre mixed or produced this record because we did see them together. Apparently he was supposed to do his own version of Jesus is King, but apparently this record was either mixed or produced. I'm gonna double check that or whatever because I've seen both. I've seen people say it's produced and I've seen people say it's mixed. This feels like it's a Yeezus throwaway. And to me, that's one of his last really good projects. So I don't mind him going back to that. I like the record. There's just I'm not all the way with that Kanye line. That whole look, as a Kanye West fan, right? I have learned to understand that when Kanye says some stupid shit, you got to kind of just take it and go with it because that's kind of his style, right? This one, I don't know, it didn't really land. This one didn't land for me, And this man has talked about, a model with bleached assholes and everything or whatever, but this one didn't land for me. That one didn't land for me. As far as the record goes, I really like it. Travis is kind of on it just to be on it. Like, I don't feel like he adds too much to it, really. But I like the record, man. This is a step in the right direction. Okay, so you want to make this music about God. You want to make sure you don't curse. That's fine. There is a happy medium between you doing just complete gospel and you still being able to be creative and be in your hip hop lane. But I'll let you tell me. When I asked you if you listened to the record, I didn't want to get whether you liked it or not until we got on here. So I wanted you to let me know now.
I like it as much as I like the songs that came from Yeezus. I'm glad you said that because I felt the same exact way about it. Not my favorite project from Ye, but there are some things that are really good there. This feels like it could have been in there with it. And it does feel like a throwaway, though. Like you said, there is some stuff that just doesn't land, right? But to me, it's better than his recent output. There is a happy medium. This is kind of where it falls. I just wish if anybody was going to find a happy medium in this, I wish it would be no malice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's not like, you know, something that I keep revisiting, but it's not something that I hate, and I think they kind of knew that. I think
It's
just
safe.
like, right, and I think it's just time for Ye to kind of like start warming up again, especially with the Gap thing happening and everything. So I get
That's
it.
true. And what I appreciated about the video is the imagery. With like
Video kind of freaked me out a little bit. I'll be honest.
right. Well, it's a lot. There's a lot going on in it. Like it's hard to focus on the music. Like I watched the video first because that's how I had it, and then I went and I listened to the record by itself because there's different ways to consume it. The imagery is what kind of is shocking. There's a lot of stuff that has to do with what's going on right now, which I applaud you, Kanye, because the reason that we all fell in love with Kanye West, it was because of the way he spoke about social issues, because he was on the front line of all these things, and now it's obviously more important than ever. For him to be able to get back to that at least a little bit with this video, that I think that video is supposed to be uncomfortable. I think that video is supposed to be jarring like that, and you're supposed to feel like, the images that you see there are disturbing because they are. Like, the cops shooting the tear gas at the people, and I appreciate that. Again, a video can help you like a song better, right? But in this regard, I feel like I paid attention to the music more when I got a chance to listen to it by itself.
Right.
The video does draw the song up and raise it up, but the song itself is not a bad song, and I agree 100% with all those things that you're saying, right? So all this stuff was planned out, right? That Gap deal didn't just like, the Gap didn't call him the day before and was like, hey, you want to sign? Sure.
Yeah.
Like you had been talking about this for a while, so you knew when this was gonna happen. You knew what day it was gonna be let out, and you knew what to roll out, right? So it's a few days
Right.
after this announcement, and he says, hey, a new record is coming. So you're not wrong, and it is time for him to heat up a little bit too as well. Look, whether you like Kanye West, appreciate him, I think he's needed for the culture because he always raises great discussions, one way or the other. He's so polarizing that we need him.
I mean, I think the good thing about Kanye is, and I don't know what future Kanye is going to do, but Ye has certainly pushed hip hop, right, into different directions, into new heights. You cannot ever take that away from him. Even Hove has been pushed to different heights because of Ye.
Right.
And that can never be taken away. So, I mean, I'm interested to see if he still has that in him.
Yeah. See, and that's a concern that I have as well too, right? There's guys that kind of empty the tank, right? And it's like, I think that what happens to the artists that don't have staying power is that the more and more you put yourself out there with new projects, the more and more you highlight your deficiencies.
Oh yeah.
So if you're somebody who's stuck in the same lane, right, same pattern, same cadence, same sort of style of beats and things like that, the more music you put out, the more it amplifies that. The more people can look at that and say, yes, this and this and this. The less you put out, I think the less people have to pick apart, of course. But there's a double side to that. As an artist, right? If you're in a lane and you're feeling good, you want to put out whatever it is that's on your heart and whatever it is you think is dope for you. So it is true, like, with the same thing with that. And I get afraid that Kanye has emptied the tank. And it's like watching Jordan on the Wizards. Like that type of thing. Like, I don't want that. I never, like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see, like, it's almost like Derek Jeter in his last few days. It's like, okay, we're running the clock out on you. Like, even you yourself know it's time to step away. So, like, I get afraid of that too. But then records like this and the video kind of make me think that there's something still in there from the guy that I latched onto.
Right.
So I think it's going to be interesting from here on out to see where he goes. But I think this is an encouraging first step, considering that I wouldn't have been checking for this record at all if that little snippet that he put with the sample and that beat, like when Kanye gets into his sample bag, he finds things that are just like, and he finds ways to loop them and use them in ways that you just never thought were possible, you know? So,
Absolutely.
and like you said about Yeezus, I'm one of the few people that I think that Yeezus is like pretty much top to bottom with very few misses on there. You know, like that's just my opinion. But Blood on the Leaves, he's able to use, you know, that sample in that way and use it in a way where he's telling, you know, so the sample is saying one thing, the subject matter on his verses is saying something completely different, but you get both feelings, you get both messages through it, and then he's able to take that song to 10 with the way the beat sounds and everything as well too. You know, like it's there. I think it's still there. Now, will it come out in this project more and more? I hope so. But again, I that's not something I'm willing to bet on.
Yeah.
It's hard to bet on that.
Yeah, we never know. We never know where he's going.
Right, exactly. But I think that's also part of the allure too, because like you said, he's pushed the genre in different ways, and he's forced people to you know step outside of the box. And I think what you said about Jay-Z is true, because I feel like I'm of the opinion that Watch the Throne is more Kanye as far as like the sound, the way the cover looks, and Jay-Z's along the ride.
And that leaked into Magna too.
Right. Right, because he wanted to use the Frank Ocean record. God, when this is over, when we're done, because it's like noon, I think I'm gonna play that shit really, really loud because I haven't heard that song in a long time.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, that was from that session. Like Kanye was upset that wasn't on Watch the Throne, and I get why. The only Christopher that we acknowledge is Wallace. You know, like. And you know what's funny? That's not even one of my favorite Jay albums, honestly. Like the issue with that is the songs that I like are short. Beach is Better shouldn't have been no minute.
I feel that way. I feel that way about Beach is Better, and I feel that way about Versus. But then, like when you listen to them, you like start to wonder, like, okay, well, what was Hove going to do with this for 3 minutes? Like the beat is insane. But it's like, would he been able to say anything we cared about over this beat for 3 minutes? I don't know.
I think it was the beat that, I mean, as long as Hov is going to walk on that shit, because he is, you know what I mean? Like, I would have been fine with it. But yeah, you're right. You're right. So before we get into last night's battle, let me get 5 new records that you're listening to. I also, before you get into yours and before I get into mine, I also want to formally apologize to 2 people on this podcast. I want to apologize to you, and I want to apologize to Tiana Taylor. You were fucking spot on. I was waiting to get my hair cut, and I got there early because I was fucking excited, kid in the candy store type shit. But I also wasn't about to go sit in there because 1, you're not allowed, and 2, you know, like the less people, the better. So I sat in the car before I went in there and I listened, and wow, what a body of work. There is an argument to be made that Tiana Taylor needs to stay away from Kanye West.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just because guys are, you know, creative, you know, are going to push you in different ways, that doesn't mean that he works with you. And I think that's what I really took away from this album. Because it's very long, but my goodness, the highs on this album. So I just want to apologize to you, because you did say when we were talking about the top 10 albums, I almost feel like I scoffed at that, you know, because I was just like, you know, I heard that from other people, but it was hard to believe that in my own mind because of what I got from the last project. And I also want to apologize to her because, good God, man, like, that is one of the best well-rounded projects of the year. And when we go towards the end of the year, we get to it, it's going to be probably on this list. So,
yeah.
But go ahead. 5 records that you're listening to.
Okay, so I'll start with the obvious, low-key Tiana Taylor song.
So we got one that's on the same too. Cool. So that's the one that like, again, the whole album's great, but that's the one that just the integration of Erica, like, that's a collab. That's not I sent you a hook in email No.
Yeah.
You guys were in the studio together. You wanted to do the same thing with the next Lifetime. Story wise,
Right.
and you just integrated it perfectly. That's my favorite song on the record. That's the one that I listen to over and over. So we got one together. Good. I got four now.
Okay. So yo, it's weird. Maybe it's because it's like summer, right? And maybe some more like rappers need to come with the summer vibes.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of this is like an R&B kind of lane, man. I discovered this woman Umi, and it's the song called Bet. Just super fire. Like I've been running it and running it and running it.
That's
Big
great.
Boy and Sleepy Brown's the Can't Sleep single
I haven't
is
heard of that. It's dope.
is dope, and I think they're supposed to be doing a collab album. So
That's great. Cause
yeah,
I've been, cause I Can't Wait is my favorite Sleepy Brown record, but they're both on that though. Like, but
but
Andre 3000 he just walked all over that shit, man. Even as a
yeah,
kid, I was just like, oh my god, man. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
um, Chantel May and West Side Gun, Until I Say So.
Okay.
It's fire.
Yeah.
And I kind of, when I saw it, I kind of went into it like, yo, are people really just gonna start using West Side Gun in places where it doesn't make sense just because, you know what I mean?
Cause he's
He
hot.
on fire right now, but this one actually,
It works.
yeah. And Coast to Coast by Currency is one of the songs that I just keep running.
Cool. I haven't
But
had
you
a
know what
chance.
you're getting from Currency, right?
I love Currency. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. And again, like I said, when people do, Currency has like a bag that he's in all the time, pretty much. But yeah, I'm always good with him, and I'm surprised that one got by me. All right.
It's pretty fresh. The project is like super fresh.
Okay.
So
All right. Perfect. So we'll have that up. We're gonna put that up on our playlist too, or whatever. So I've got Low Key's on there for me. That was gonna be my second record. I've been listening to, Little Baby put out a deluxe edition of his album, and the joint that he added on there, Humble, that shit is stupid. That shit goes so hard. That's one of my favorite records on that project. I'm actually listening to this joint called Carefree by Mick Jenkins.
okay.
Um, it's incredible, honestly. The video is really dope too. Like that song, that's one of the. See, I'm more of it. I'm more in a harder lane though. Like with some of the other, I mean, Low Key is R&B clearly or whatever. But like Humble's a hard record. So is Carefree. And Low Key's like in the middle of it. Like I have those five songs that play in a row, and it's so weird. You go from this to this to this. Like it just bounces around.
Yeah.
Um, I Lockdown, Innocent Pack, his performance at the BET Awards with J Rock, that really just amplified how much I like the song already.
That was fire, bro.
Yeah, man, he's incredible, man. Like, he's just one of those people. Again, you can't teach any of that shit. Like, if there is a God up there, then he got it from God. Like,
Yeah.
like he got it from him because that's
Yeah.
just like to be able to sing, rap, play the drums, do all those things. Come on, man. Like that's just not. Yeah, that's not taught. And then I have another record that's it's from Insecure. It was in the season finale. As usual, they drop jewels on me all the time. When I watch the show. But it's called The Love That I'm Given by Iman Omari. It's a dope ass fucking record. Like it just reminds me of a bad episode. I'm not gonna give any spoilers away or whatever. But Insecure fucked me up or whatever with the finale or whatever. But yeah, it just reminds me of that part of the episode, and it was a great episode, and it was a great season. But yeah, those are the records that I'm listening to. But that Low Key record is like my favorite. I gotta stop myself from listening to it like 4 and 5 times
Trying
sometimes.
not to burn it out. Like you
Right,
want
right,
to
right.
keep
Like I'm just like,
songs
all right.
fresh.
Like I got some other shit, that I could listen to. So but yeah, those are the 5. So we'll put those playlists up for you guys if you want to check them out. We'll probably just combine them all together. So
Dope.
all right. Last night's battle, Fab Jada. What time did it start, Trills?
I would say, I think they went maybe 15 minutes, maybe past 8, something like that.
Well, so it was supposed to start at 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that didn't happen. Clearly, guys. I want you to start first, because I'm always like, I had a blast last night.
Yeah.
This is my era. These are my guys, like in both sides or whatever. And I feel like this was more of a celebration of both of them. I learned a little something last night, but I'll let you talk or whatever. I'll tell you what I think.
I think this might have been the most fun Versus has ever been for me, at least. I know for some people, like Beanie really gave them what they wanted, and that was like the most fun one for them. I hear that Alicia and John Legends was really special for people. Um, and then obviously like Preem and RZA Wright was really special for people, but this one was the most fun for me. And I mean, you see two dudes that like are obviously like
Friends.
it's like at this point, right?
Yeah.
And that shit just makes it super incredible to watch.
Right.
I don't think people get to see how funny, lighthearted rappers are and can be, and like I'm glad that they got to do that yesterday. That's my big takeaway from it.
For sure, and I think you hit the nail on the head right there with that one because you always got to be cool as a rapper and everything. And
Yeah.
and Jadakiss was having a lot of fun last night.
Yeah.
So before we get into the music, man, like you said, I like the banter back and forth. Jada was like, "Oh, hold up, we gotta get this." He goes, "I've been talking about Duce the whole time." He's like, "I gotta get this to rock." He's like, "They sent the big bag over there."
But the funniest shit is he's like, because you could tell, right, that very early on that Kiss is sauced already, right? So he's like, Fab is like getting up and performing and shit. He's like, "Yo, come on, Fab, you ain't gotta perform all of this shit. This ain't Dancing with the Stars, my nigga." Like, yo.
Yo, that and Fab's DJ is also didn't he get on the mic on one of the joints too? And I'm just like, this is too much. Like now that you wild extra or whatever.
Yo, you can see the obvious differences between Fab and Kiss though, because like Kiss is sauce, but Kiss don't care that he's sauce, right?
Right.
Fab is sauce too, but Fab's demeanor is so cool all the time.
He wants to be cool guy.
He was not going to show anybody that he was sauce. So bro just kept leaving. And like Kiss got to get up and entertain people, or Booth had to come out and entertain people. When we got all the way to the end, people like, "Yo, where's Fab at?" Right? Nowhere to be found. And then you just hear him talking on the mic. I'm like, yo, bruh is really off somewhere like on the couch so nobody can see him.
He's probably drinking water. I mean, like, look. I'm not gonna talk shit because I'm sitting here right here with you right now having a drink while we're doing this or whatever. But I didn't drink before this. I'm gonna drink during it, and I think that when you drink creatively, if you're doing something, it kind of just it depends on the person, but it either accentuates, what you're doing and just keeps you good, or it can completely throw you off. Yeah, I mean, like I don't know what I was expecting from this. I thought it was just gonna be them just playing records or whatever. But the idea that they got up and they started rapping, especially when they played the OG Locks record, and there's no vocals for that, and then you get Jada rapping the entire verse like he was a kid when he wrote that shit. Like that's fun, man. Like I had a blast last night, and I think that what I learned from last night was something that I already knew. No, well, one is that I underestimated Fab's songs, but I already knew that there was not a shot that he was going to be able to compete with Jada. My simple point on this with Jada is this. The better rapper to me of the two is Jada. The person who got the start earlier and had a bigger effect on me, because I was still, Fab came around 99, 2000. Mm-hmm. Jada's been on the scene since 95, 96.
At least 95, yeah.
Right, 95, 96. And he's on records that resonate much more heavily with me than Fab's records. You know, he wrote Diddy's verse on Victory. He's on Benjamin's. All for the Love. Like these are all records that like are like again, if we were talking about like the beginner's manual, these songs are part of this this manual, right? And then Fab comes along in 2000, and I'm a big Fab fan. I'm not gonna sit here and lie with you either. But those records, like Youngin came on, and I was like, oh shit! I was like, this shit's still a bop. You know that song is 20 years old. You know that album came out on 9/11. 20 years pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's just like when I started to listen to the records, I'm just like I kept like Jada got this one, Jada got this one, Jada got this one, Jada got this one. You know, like it's too much, man. Like he starts the whole battle out with Blackout, and I'm just like, all right. So now you're not like even like gonna give people a chance to like warm up or anything like that. Like, okay, so you hit with that, and what's again song placement. I fucking love You Ain't Got Nothing. I love Fab's verse on that shit. That's like one of my favorite records on Carter 3. But it doesn't beat that.
No. No way.
And it's just like in the beginning, I want to say the first 7 to me are all Jada.
Yeah.
I had a person online tell me that when Jada played By Your Side and Fab hit back with Trade It All Part 2, I was like, this is a wash. Like, Fab switched it because he knew he wasn't winning that one. Like, isn't that crazy? And By Your Side is an album cut on Kiss of Death.
Bro, you talk about placement, right? Like, when he played that, I was like, bro, your counter should have been Breathe.
Breathe. But I think that he wanted to try to save that. But did you also notice that Fab was improvising a lot with his DJ?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna let you choose this one.
Yeah.
So y'all did no preparation.
Yeah.
Because it was clear that Jada and his DJ were like, we're gonna throw 1 or 2, women records in here, but we're not gonna take our foot off the gas pedal when it comes to hard shit.
Right.
Because that shit had me dying. Jada's like, he keep trying to switch it on us. So like when he's playing, like he starts with the female records, and Jada don't give a fuck, and he goes right back, and he's just like, I'm not changing. Go to play the next one. Like Banned from New York, Banned from TV, and then Fab plays the Brooklyn record, which is a dope record. But that's not a classic record like Banned from TV is, man. It has it all, that record. It's him in style. The back and forth. Come on, man.
Bro. Like, here's the thing, man. Going into this, I was like, yo, Kiss has been on way too many important rap records. You cannot beat those records by trying to stay in the lane. The only way you can beat those records is throw out something for women. It's the only possible way. Like your street records cannot compare to Kiss and Lock street records, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
They're too important. They're too important.
That's what I'm saying. That's my thing.
Breathe, for a lot of people, Breathe is the quintessential Fabulous record.
For sure.
But Breathe is not going to be We Gonna Make It.
Nope.
And it's not going to be New York if Jada decided to use it.
So I think what Fab did wrong last night too is he left too much on the bench. Like he had, like, where were the Soul Tape records?
Yes.
I don't get it. That was your shot. If you want to do records that are close to those records, there's your shot. Mixtape Fab is much better than album Fab. He has classic mixtapes, but not one classic album.
Yes.
And I think that he blew it there. I think we had to dip into all those Soul Tape bags.
I just can't believe he didn't lean into his lane. Like, if he had just kept giving us La Morena Fab, he would have had a higher chance at it being at least even.
Right.
But Street Fab cannot compare to Locks and Street Kiss.
Look. We're gonna run through it pretty quickly. Blackout. You ain't got nothing. The Little Wayne joint. I got Jada.
Yeah.
Recognize as Primo. 6 minutes. A Cassidy record. That's a dope record. Recognize that's 2-0. Made You Look remix. I didn't even have to hear the next record. I was like, that's 3-0.
Yeah.
You're down. Started Up is a fine record. That's not gonna do it. By Your Side against Trade It All. I've already got it. 1, 2, 3. I got it 4. 4 zip.
Yep.
All for the Love. I'ma do it. I got it 5-0.
Yeah.
Chest to Chest freestyle and Keeping It Gangsta. That's a little bit closer. If you want to, let's give it to Fab. Right?
Yeah.
So 5-1. World War III, Gangsta Don't Play. That was close.
Bro. That goes to World War III for me, bro.
6-1. Banned from TV, 7. Blood Pressure. What do you throw Blood Pressure against? Right? See, here's the thing. Is like again, like I think my list that I'm looking at is missing because some of those records aren't on certain streaming platforms.
Right.
But I love that he told the story about Can I Live.
Oh yeah.
I think that was really dope. You know, like because I think that Black Rob album is like lost. Like people don't remember how dope that album was, and I think the story behind that album is one of the most interesting stories of any album because of the label that he was on, because that album was reviewed by The Source months before it was able to come out because that shit was on the street. I remember having a copy of it without all the records. They added records or whatever to it, but I remember having that album months and months and months before, and it got 5 mics. That was something at that point that if your album got 5 mics, that wasn't to be taken lightly.
No.
And pretty much any album that has been given 5 mics still stands to that standard today. They didn't really miss on too many of those. But it was interesting to hear him say that was a Locks record. He goes, obviously I couldn't get out of what we were in. He goes, you know, Puff had us like, he's like, Puff had us in the headlock, and he was like, and he goes, and they let the record go on Black Rob's album, which was an amazing album. And that album went out of here, and he goes, and I love this record. And Fab was debating. He's like, he goes, whose album is it on? And he's like, it's on Black Rob's. He goes, there you go. Like, I thought that was, see, again, that's the brotherhood, like right there, whatever, that they were able to talk about that way. But I thought that was very interesting that he was able to talk. See, that's the type of stuff that you want to hear when you get into these things, these stories behind these records, because he talked about he paid for By Your Side from Alchemist. He said I was hustling. He goes, I went to the shoebox real quick. He goes, I put the money up. He goes, I got Interscope to pay me back with interest. He was like, for it. He was like, because I had to make sure I had to lock that beat in. Like that's a dope fucking story, and that's another thing that like it was loosening the tongue when he was fucking he was gone. OJ was up against Can I Live. I like that record, but I like Jada's verse better than his on that Jeezy record. Ball Drop against Victory. Sorry. Uptown Vibes against Two Guns Up.
I'll give it to Fab, honestly.
Okay. That's a newer record.
Because it's a newer record. I mean, look, Mighty D Block is classic. It's like incredibly classic.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just give it to reception, right? In this case, because when they play Uptown Vibes, it went up, and everybody in the live was going crazy.
Right.
So, you know.
That's when the shorty was Millie rocking on me shit or whatever. I was like, damn. I was like, she's hitting that shit. Yeah. So, okay, that's fine. You know, again, like some of these you can kind of lean one way or the other, but, you know, like some of them I don't even really see the argument for the other ones.
Some is like, a lot of it was like kind of wash.
Right. Can't Deny It. You know, that's a great Nate Dogg, you know, tribute. And Fuck You. Come on, man. That beat, like, all that shit, like, you know, just
incredible, man.
Too much. Throw It in the Bag. That's one of Fab's biggest records, but Knock Yourself Out. Come on, man. Come on. Come
No
on.
comparison. Knock yourself out.
Right. Youngin, all right. I really, really like that record. And I'm glad that I was able to hear it now that I'm 35 because I still really like the record. The record still
Yeah.
goes, and that's Pharrell.
Yeah. And
Um,
and the bar work on it is still good too.
yeah, of course. It's still it doesn't feel bad because there are there's some Fab lines that are either outdated or just a little like a little cringeworthy, right? The punchline's a little bit too much sometimes. Like Drake does that too sometimes. Where I'm just like, ooh, all right, we'll let it slide, like type shit.
Yeah,
But
when they get into their like internet bag and they're
yeah,
like making punchlines and metaphors and
right,
reference to shit that's happening on the internet, it's like
right. Current event stuff, right? Like you have to remember that from the time,
yeah.
yeah. Um, but Youngin goes up against Run, and that Ghost and Jada record. Come on, man. Like my Tim's starting to feel like Nike Airs
Like
on me,
hands
man.
on. Bro, as soon as you hear I might have to take my shirt off, you're like, oh
Yeah, yeah, son.
shit. Come on, bro. Come on,
He's
bro.
winning this by a lot at this point for me. He's winning this by a lot. You be killing them, Benjamins. Look, fine record, Fab. No. Like you're not gonna beat that. You're not gonna beat that. He's on records, like you said, that are like in the manual. Like they're already in.
They are top like 20 rap songs. Like
Yep.
what song beats Benjamin's in 5 seconds that you could think
Right.
off your head? Like it's
Right.
so hard. Pick one.
Right. Make Me Better is his record, like that's a good one. But the Back to Life freestyle, I like that too. I really do, man. But you know what? For the sake of not being one-sided, let's give this one to Fab because I feel like that's a bigger record, I think, than that one. That was just like again, street
It's a bigger
classics.
record, yeah.
Yeah. You get scooped like ice cream. I can hear it now, like in my head. But Can't Let You Go and Ride or Die Bitch. Can't Let You Go is like I get it. I get that record a lot,
I
especially
like
for
that song.
yeah, for women, Ride or Die Bitch got me in trouble when I started listening to that shit around my mom or whatever. Like you forget how explicit the hook is.
Yeah, man.
Uh, that was close.
I think it's close, but Ride or Die is so special, man. It's a special song, man.
Timberland.
Yeah.
Okay, Into You. And then he plays the Jaheim record, right?
Right.
Is that the one
Right.
where he hits back? I think Into You wins that one. That one's
That
too.
goes to Fab. That's
Yeah,
a classic record,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. Breathe, and we gonna make it.
Breathe deserved a better chance.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I'm biased because I just recently watched that song get performed in front of me, like with Jada and Styles. But the beat, Alchemist, just it's that one's too special. Again too special. And then she got her own, and I think he countered with something else. They just went into like overtime after that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, I think it's clear that Jada won this battle. I did learn some things, like I said, about Fab, and I need to like stop underestimating his catalog. But Jada kind of walked away with a heavy victory here, I feel.
Yeah, yeah. And not that Fab isn't a good opponent.
No.
I think Fab came in it trying to show people that he wasn't just the ladies rapper,
Right.
and I think he suffered in this battle for doing that.
Right. And they didn't even get to their own stuff together that they had, which, that has some shit on it as well, too. Like, I would have did that as well, too. But, it got to a point where, like, they were at the end of it, and, like, Jada was so far gone that I was just like, okay. I was like, they're done with, like, the actual battle. I'm done then,
I kept thinking Jada was going to fall, bro. I'm like, bro, don't fall on this live, bro.
What did he say that had me crying? Oh, when they were about to do the switch, he went and he's like, all right, and now you get the switch or whatever. And Fab was like, nah, he goes, I go, and then we switch. He's like, oh, he goes, I'm sorry. He goes, I'm sorry. He goes, I'm intoxicated. He goes, I'm drinking. I'm drinking responsibly, though. I was sitting there crying, bro. Like, you could tell that like that was fun for both of them. You know, like in the
Yo,
midst of this, it was good for them to get together and do this.
I just hope somebody went and got Jada a chimney, bro. Like he needed something to
He needs
soak that
food.
up, bro.
He needs food. He's like, this dude said it. He goes, my bad. Oh man. So yeah, right under an hour. This was perfect. Like, you know, we nailed it. So yeah, 444 came out yesterday. A few other albums came, but and the Madlib and Gibbs joint, it felt redundant to go back and touch on both of them because you kind of already know my feelings for sure and your feelings on the Madlib joint. And I think, you know, we've already retro reviewed Jay-Z albums. You know, the 444 one is one of his better albums, even still though to this day. And listening to it again, like I said, that album, Reasonable Doubt and 444 is the closest you'll ever get to knowing Sean Carter. The closest you'll ever get.
Yeah.
But yo, plug something. Let me know. The deluxe edition's out right now too. You can get that everywhere. What else?
Nothing, man. We got a couple videos coming out that should be out by I want to say August. We're working on getting them done the correct way. Probably in the Clouds video might be coming a little ahead of that.
That's cool.
But just working on the visual aspect of things right now, man, because you know people need that.
Absolutely.
Actually,
Trills, no Z.
Because of like everything going on, I wanted to like kind of donate something to NAACP.
Wait, what? Oh, I don't have it on here. Wait, I do have it on here. Did you say what was that word that you just said real quick? I just want to make sure that I heard it right. Did you say?
I don't even know.
Wait. So, but wait, you didn't say. All right. I'm sorry. I couldn't help you. All right. No, that's good. Keep going. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I wanted to donate something to NAACP.
Gotcha.
So, I kind of like reached out to a producer that I did like my really, really early work with. I started out really, really early in this rap shit with being very hyper conscious and aware. And all that music talks to how, you know, Black America feels right now. It's 6 songs. So I put that up. So any other streams, any of the cops for it, go straight to NAACP, all 100% of it.
That's awesome.
I do realize that like I kind of like lost some followers on some of the streaming platforms because of this.
Really?
But they were only followers that I gained from doing In the Clouds, which is In the Clouds is in its like EDM pop bag, so I think I lost some of them, but that's no big deal. I like to have them gone. But it's labeled as Breaking the Fourth Wall, demos, unmixed and unmastered. It's 6 songs.
Awesome. I'm actually really happy. I'm gonna go check that out myself too. That's great, man. I'm happy to hear that, man. That's awesome. Yeah, just make sure you follow him on all the platforms. It's Trills, no Z, S at the end. Yep. I mean, I just got, you know, I just did a podcast for the 49ers. I've been writing again or whatever, you know, stuff like that. Just, you know, the Twitter stuff. Just follow me on Twitter at Jason Aponte 2103. That's usually where you'll get most of my content anyway. But yeah, nothing really to plug other than that. So we'll be back, you know, probably top of the week, you know, hopefully. We'll figure out what's going on, if there's any battles or anything like that, and we'll adjust our schedule accordingly. So for Trills and Jay, we out of here.
Yeah.
Peace.